What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one, we have why Australia doesn't give up. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, get a video a thumbs up, and let's get right to it.
I'm in Sydney, Australia, and this is the world famous Opera House. And I'm speaking here tomorrow night. What the f? Most of you probably know that I wrote a book, and that book was really successful in a lot of different countries around the world. But in no country was it as successful as it's been in Australia. Even really? 8 years later, it's still on bestseller lists here. And statistically, something like 1 out of 8 Australians owns a copy of one of my books. Which begs the question, what is wrong with Australia? Why do they give so few fucks? Or do they give too many fucks? Over the next week, I am doing a speaking tour all across Australia. I'm hitting every major city, and I'm going to be meeting dozens and dozens of fans. And I'm going to be asking this question. Why doesn't Australia give a fuck? What's going on here? Is it the meat pies? Is it the koalas? There's only one way to find out.
Why don't Australia give
Morning in Sydney. Feeling a little groggy. I was, definitely one of those kids who did his homework the night before. I was like up editing my talk till probably 12 or 1.
How are you feeling about the show?
I feel good about the show. It feels like everything came together. More last minute than I would have liked, but that just seems to be the story of my life.
Oh yeah, I think so.
How did the success of that book change your life?
How long do we have?
Thank you.
You're performing at the Opera House?
Yeah, well, one, I'm performing at the Opera House.
It's author and podcast host of The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up. I'm really trying not to say the word, Mark Manson!
You can say it. Hey, feel free to say the word. Allow yourself to say. I know you can't say it on TV, but it would be cool if you could.
Do you feel like the book has been particularly well received here? And if so, culturally, what makes it so?
Can I actually throw that back to you? Because
Yes,
Australia
please.
is actually my best market by a long shot.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah, please explain to me.
The title resonates with us, honestly.
But the concepts too.
Yes.
Yeah,
But if we're already into it, why do we need the book?
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about reaffirming something in the way that we approach things.
I feel that.
So we're here in the green room at the project, Channel 10 in Sydney. The fun thing about green rooms, first of all, they're never green. Second of all, they bring you all these snacks. Some green rooms, it's like old stale potato chips and tap water. This one's impressive. So we got a nice basket of chips, some chocolates, hummus, cheese spread here. That's impressive. You don't see that a whole lot. Then you got your usual sodas, some Pellegrino, some nice, genuine Australian wine. This one's pretty good. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. Definitely above average. Probably not the best I've seen, but it's definitely up there.
TV is weird. It's like a completely different skill than any other media. They never want you to answer in more than like 2 or 3 sentences. You can like feel the studio start to get awkward as soon as you start explaining anything. I don't love it. I like podcasts. Podcasts, you can just ramble and they'll fix it in post.
I feel that TV, you got a certain amount of time that we got to get this done in. Whereas podcasts, like you said, you can ramble, they'll edit, do whatever, or they might release a fully very long podcast. So I can understand liking podcasts over TV appearances.
Is it popular because Australians give so many fucks and there's just like demand? Or is it because they're like, yeah, I get it?
I think it's the I get it.
Yeah.
But we aren't as artistic. It's not as subtle for us. No, I think we give the least fucks out of anyone. And I don't say that necessarily like it's a good thing. I just think you came in out of nowhere and confirmed everything we wanted to hear. We wanted to give no fucks and we're like, someone tell us we don't have to.
Someone tell us we don't. I do agree. If there's any country that does it, that gives the least amount, it's definitely Australia. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So far, I've only talked to Australians.
Yeah.
You're an American who's been living in Australia for a number of years now. And so I'm curious to kind of dive into a little bit of the culture.
It's a tricky one because when you look at Australians, they live by this motto of the tall poppy syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of it before. They tend to cut each other down. And so I think it would make it very hard to not give a fuck in that context. When you're kind of always looking over your shoulder, like who's going to cut me down? Who's going to like call me out for being a dickhead? Maybe that's a part of it where it's like, it's a message that they need.
Tall poppy syndrome is when someone displays extraordinary individual effort or success and is then socially punished for it. This is common in families and cultures that have strong egalitarian values. The result of tall poppy syndrome is that people feel as though they need to mask their effort and hide their ambitions, lest they make themselves too easy of a target, too tall of a poppy. And if you, by chance, are seen as too successful, the expectation is that you diminish yourself for the sake of others.
But I don't think Australia sees it in that nature. This is definitely tall poppy syndrome. I think Australia sees it in the nature of, like, don't just be constantly bragging about how successful you are. Don't be trying to show off all the time, or like that kind of cocky attitude. They're not really rocking with that. But I don't think they have an issue with people being like very successful. I think they have an issue with people being cocky about their success, or always bragging or boasting or being bashful about their success. Which I don't have an issue with. To me, if you worked hard and you did whatever it took to gain your success and you want to brag about it, that's cool. You put in the work. But I think that's more of what Australians' attitude, not just them being upset at people for being successful.
The benefit of tall poppy syndrome is that it promotes social cohesion and harmony. The downside is that it demotivates people from pursuing anything that may cause them to stand out as being exceptional or a success.
The tall poppy syndrome is also something that makes Australia great.
Yeah.
If you look at the opposite of it, oh my God, it's like the worst people on the internet are like the Americans that are fucking cocky and they're like, you know, if you don't have a six-pack abs, then you're not working for me. And it's like braggadocio and arrogance that is so common in the U.S.
Facts.
That I think
I think that's why I say I'm okay with it. But it just may be that American mentality
here, and that tall poppy syndrome helps to keep people humble.
The tall poppy thing is interesting because you do have to worry about what other people are thinking, but you also have to look like you're not worrying about what other people are thinking.
Yes.
Right?
yeah. It's all the approach of like, you have to be very self-aware as well.
Where do you think the tall poppy syndrome comes from?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Are you ready?
I think. I guess I have no choice. Let's go. Let's do it.
So then the concept ball, this is your 5-minute goal. This is an event will in 5 seconds.
The next day, I flew to Melbourne. But first, I wanted to stop at a couple museums to learn about Australia's history. For tens of thousands of years, the continent of Australia was populated by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations who lived sustainably off the land. But then, in 1770, British explorer Captain James Cook claimed Australia for Great Britain. The establishment of penal colonies soon followed. But soon, waves of settlers and immigrants came as the Australian continent turned out to be plentiful in resources, with the world's largest gold deposits, as well as iron, coal, and later uranium. Australia thrived, enjoying the benefits of its geographical isolation, its abundant resources, and stable democratic governance. The lucky country, as it is sometimes called, has had it so good that ironically, Australians seem indifferent or even slightly ashamed of their own history. I hope to learn a lot more about their history, but to my surprise, the few museums they had were tiny and basically empty. It made me wonder if this maybe had something to do with the tall poppy syndrome and why Australians don't give a fuck.
Huh. I didn't know that. I guess I never really thought about, or I've seen videos about like Australian museums. Nobody's ever did a vlog visiting Australian museums that I've seen. There may be vlogs out there, that I've seen. So Australian museums aren't that big, small. So he can't really find out much about the history of the country because there's not much that talks about it.
It was 17 in Sydney. Bullshit.
It was 17 in Sydney.
What is it about Australian culture, why it resonates so much here?
You don't want to be seen to care too much. It's almost like it's a desperate energy. It's not true though.
Of course.
But that's what I think the perception is like if you care too much, it's almost like you're holding on too tight.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on tall poppy syndrome?
Oh, tall poppy syndrome in Australia is actually a real thing.
Yeah.
We learn to be humble, even if we've done a whole scope of things, we won't say them because we don't want to brag. It's a real cultural thing that we learn from when we're young. Aussies want to not give a fuck, even though they inherently do. And so having your book provides wisdom to them because they're trying to fit more of that stereotype of like being laid back and not caring. When, we do. Of course we do.
That's an interesting point that it's like actually not giving a fuck here is almost like a status thing.
Yeah. It's like don't be so uptight or don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sometimes it can be quite challenging to do that.
Right.
I feel like I've read the beginning of his book and I absolutely freaking loved it. I haven't finished it because I say I just don't have time, but you can always make time. So I should make time, but that book was absolutely amazing. And I feel like I was loved because I feel like I give too many F's and like I care too much about what other people think of me. And so reading that book was like, dang, bro, I literally like just need to stop that. Like, I don't know. It was just cool. I didn't get to read the whole thing, so I can't say I resonated with the whole thing. But I'm sure that I would have, and I got it in the living room. I'm going to start reading it again.
Hey, buddy. Hi there.
No.
Did you know that this video is sponsored by BetterHelp? A teletherapy service that you can access anytime via video call, phone call, or text message.
I was not
do you
that
like
long,
that?
actually. I don't
Did you
give
know that
a
more
F.
than 40% of people don't have access to mental health care? But BetterHelp tries to solve that. Did you know that if you don't like your therapist, you can change it anytime? No extra charge? That's exciting, isn't it? If you can't access a koala cuddle, then I recommend therapy. It's the next best thing. Use the link in the description to get 10% off your first month or go to betterhelp.com/Mark Manson.
Love
you're
that.
such a cutie. You're such a cutie. Oh, burpees. Somebody's burp. Ooh. Excuse you. Yes.
I love that. I want to hold a koala. I want to hold a freaking koala. That'd be so cool.
So I'm here at the Melbourne jailhouse, which is the third consecutive disappointment of trying to visit an Australian history museum. There's just a conspicuous lack of history in this country, which I find perplexing. I've been to a lot of countries and I've been to a lot of museums, and Everywhere else in the world, people are really proud and excited of their history. But strangely, here in Australia, people seem to be indifferent. What the hell is up with that?
Don't make no sense, man.
To learn more, I decided to meet up with an old friend of mine named Liam. Liam is a mountaineer and entrepreneur. He's climbed some of the highest peaks all over the world, and he's one of the most thoughtful and philosophical dudes I've ever met.
So we've known each other now for like 3-ish years, and you've been all over, like literally all over the world.
I mean, covered a bit of territory. Yeah.
You're doing the Aussie humble thing right now. You know me, you know your country. Like, why is my work so big here? Like, why do they put me in the opera house? I'm like me? I'm the fuck guy. Why? This is the most prestigious building in your country.
So the question is, why do you guys like me so much?
Yes, please.
There you go.
Oh, I see where this is going. Maybe this is something cautionary we have to think about. If you're making some content about why am I so special, I will give you an example of something that you can do in the event that you too start to lose the favor of the Australian market. All you need to do, like in the middle of your content or anything you're doing, is just casually remove your shirt.
Okay.
And you need to get whatever beverage that you have.
Oh,
you need
Lord.
to pour it into the shirt.
No.
No, I'm trying to help you. Once you've done that, you just very, very casually.
No.
Nah.
You need to drink all of it.
No.
That's crazy work.
What are you doing? What is wrong with you?
So it's called a shoey. And then you put the shoe back on.
Shoeys. I could only do a shoe out of a fresh, unwarmed shoe. Any shoe that I done put my feet in can't be drunk out of. It's poison.
And you go on with your life.
Poison.
That is so fucking disgusting.
I'm helping you out, mate. You're a good friend. I'm not fucking you around. Okay, so
is this a thing, Jess?
It's a thing.
A shoey.
See, did anyone flinch? Look at this.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, you're American, and it's completely understandable that there are obvious hygiene concerns with drinking beverage out of your shoe. There are cultural mechanisms and rituals to make sure that Australians don't get too big for their own boots, too self-important, or next to that, also, so they're not to take themselves or life too seriously. Really, like a lot of people that were initially here in Australia had a suspicion and a dislike for the upper class, a dislike of authority,
Interesting.
and resistance to any privilege or any sort of importance or seriousness that emerged from that. And we literally have things in our culture that kind of ensure that that's regulated.
Here in Australia, you're socially rewarded for the appearance of not giving a fuck. And so you get this paradoxical thing where it's almost like a status symbol to have the air that you don't give a fuck about anything, yet that is giving a fuck about something.
I mean, that's a kind of American perspective on it. I think it's not. I mean, like,
okay.
I think it
fair.
might not be necessarily status, but more like avoiding being excommunicated. You can imagine that, like, the penal colony environment, you didn't want to stand out. So not taking yourself too seriously is, like, I think even like part of almost a prerequisite for acceptance.
It's agreed. I love the aspect of just not caring and not taking yourself seriously and being laid back and just being you unapologetically. Don't care what anyone else thinks or says. Like, I love that concept, and I wish like I could embody that. And like, there's just something in me that won't allow me to. It's not allowing me to step out of that box and say, you know what, this is me 100%, take it or leave it. I'm more of a chameleon where I guess I act, and it's probably terrible, I act different ways around different people. And so, yeah, I feel like more of a chameleon when I wish I was just, like, I didn't care. I'm me wherever I am.
All right, we're here at Hamer Hall in Melbourne. We're gonna do a green room review. This one's a vibe. Check out this wallpaper. This is like 1970s porno wallpaper. We got the gold lamp in the corner. We got a piano on this side with a mirror wall. Show them the piano and mirror wall. Look at that.
Show them the mirror
piano
wall.
and mirror wall.
We got the old school light switches that Jess is fucking up right now. Whoa. I'm digging it. It's a vibe. Some sesame bites, nuts, chocolate covered raspberries, potato chips, some fruit. I don't like to eat a whole lot before I go on stage. It's not good for the nerves, but an apple, maybe some nuts, like that's kind of perfect. So we got a little mini fridge, my 2 sugar-free Red Bulls. Every time a performer comes to a venue, they have a thing called a rider, and that's basically all the stuff that they demand backstage, all the food items, clothing, drinks. A lot of artists are famous for having riders that are like 15 pages long. I just asked for 2 sugar-free Red Bulls. I'm a simple man. And then got the bathroom, got a shower. Pretty straightforward. I like this one. It's smaller, quaint, but it's got a vibe. It's very comfy, cozy. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. Big thumbs up for Hamer Hall.
Okay. 9 out of 10.
So I will be talking more at this volume.
Put your hands together and get rowdy for Mark Manson.
What's up, Melbourne? I traveled over 7,000 miles to come desecrate this fine establishment with F-bombs. We're going to talk about the importance of living an unbalanced life.
Hi, Mark. As someone who had a rough childhood, how do you forgive the people who did you dirty? You still see the good in people, but without being naive or bitter.
It's hard. I carried a lot of resentment for a long time. Most of my 20s. Definitely had a lot of resentment. I posted a thing a few months ago. I'm probably gonna fuck this up, but it was something like, the best way to get revenge is to build a life so great that getting revenge would feel like a waste of time. Thank you, Melbourne.
That's a statement I gotta live by. The best way to get revenge is to live a life so great that getting revenge would be a waste of time.
It's been a pleasure.
I love that.
I'm tired. Okay, I don't even know how to start this. Every time I come to Australia, Australians rave about this thing called Vegemite, which I guess is like almost
Mark, do not do this to yourself. I know you're going to, because I know you can't hear me in real time, and I just want to apologize for what you're about to put into your mouth, dog.
Weird savory jam. I'm here with my social media manager, Jess. She's Aussie, and she's prepared an array of butter and toast for me. What are we doing here? What are these 3 different versions?
So here we have the 3 stages of life with Vegemite. You will serve this dish from any age that a child starts eating. Soft, simple, white bread.
You give this to children. This explains a lot, Australia. I'm not getting a whole lot of flavor out of this. So let's move on to the adolescent Vegemite. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
It's so salty. It tastes like a shoe. How is this so popular? I don't understand. Maybe I'm too grown up.
None of us do.
Let's see if the sourdough can save the situation here.
It can.
It's like somebody opened up a salt shaker and just dumped it on top of butter. I don't get it. What the fuck is this?
I'm sorry.
It's disgusting. It's what it is. No offense, Australia.
Sorry, Australia. No Vegemite is thumbs down. I tried.
All the thumbs down. Brisbane to Canberra.
In 1964, an author named Donald Horne wrote a famous book called The Lucky Country about Australia.
The name caught on, and Australians these days often refer to themselves as the lucky country, mostly because of their prosperity and how nice the quality of life is. It's a peaceful, stable country full of natural resources and a functioning democracy. Everything just kind of works. But Horn meant the lucky country not as a compliment, but rather as kind of an insult. He was essentially saying that Australians are lucky because not even the idiots who are in charge could fuck it up. It's interesting as an American because so much American history is based on overcoming struggles and wars and all these horrible things that we went throughout our history. As a result, we think about our history all the time. And because we think about our history, we have a very strong national identity. There's a lot of pride in the United States. Here in Australia, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of national identity. And I think a lot of that comes back to the lack of struggle. It comes from the fact that they are the lucky country. Instead, they've adopted an identity of casualness, an easygoing, fun-loving indifference, a subtle art of not giving a fuck.
So that's why Australia don't give no F's. Cause y'all just chilling. Y'all ain't never had to go through the suffering. Now, but Australia's history has made for a more laid back type of person. Not take myself so seriously, chill, let things slide, don't sweat the small stuff kind of environment.
Touring is weird in that it is the same thing over and over, yet each day the place changes.
I feel that.
Airport, hotel, sound check, event, airport, hotel, sound check, event. Yet the scenery shifts, the people are interchanged, the stories are different. It's a strange existence, halfway between a repetitive tedium and constant novelty.
I feel like it would absolutely get repetitive. But I guess that's most people's jobs. You go in and you do the same job, that you do the same thing you did yesterday. A lot of people have variety in their jobs, but a lot of people, you go in and do the same thing every day.
Man, it is stunning out here. I'm in Perth, Australia, the West Coast. We've crossed the entire country. The tour is over. It's been an incredible experience. And finally get to go home tomorrow. But most importantly, I feel like I've gained an understanding of Australian culture and Aussie character. We learned that there's social risk to being too conspicuous in Australia, that it could be rooted in their convict past. We've learned that there's kind of a lack of consciousness around history and identity here, and that ultimately people are socially rewarded for being casual. So while the message of the book has resonated all over the world, it makes sense why here it's just taken on a completely different life of its own. Because it's not just about reducing anxiety or being less stressed. Here it is a fundamental part of their national character. This is a great country, man. I really love it, and I feel like something about my work has permanently bonded me to this culture here. I feel like I'm gonna be coming back here for the rest of my life.
I love that. I love that. Australia done showed my boy Mark some love. Mark done showed Australia some love. It's a love-love relationship between the two. That's all we got for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next one. I'll see y'all next time.